drawn to go looking for answers to a mystery that's been with me my entire life.
It's been an incredible journey to do the ride itself, but really an even more incredible journey to be able to share the story with people like the Wasatch Film Festival, and just it's become much bigger than me. But the gist of the story and the film is I pitched to Red Bull Media House an idea really to do the ultimate adventure of my life, to try to be the first person to ride the entire length of the Ho Chi Minh Trail through Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. One, for the adventure aspect, but with a really deeper purpose to go look for the place, the map coordinates where my father's plane went down during the Vietnam War. He died when I was a really young girl, and this was my way, in my 40s to go find him and connect with him and use what I know as an adventure athlete to connect with my family and somebody that I didn't know until now. And it's an amazing story of an adventure, but it's also really a global message of connecting with people who are important to you, connecting with a culture, and ultimately forgiveness and healing from a painful war, a painful loss, but finding hope and joy and a new purpose for me at the end of the ride. So I don't want to give too much away, but it really is, whether you have a connection to the Vietnam War, whether you're a cyclist, adventure athlete or not, there really is something that will connect with anybody. Sure, I've been, I got into adventure sports as a young kid in suburban Illinois, camping in my backyard. And I've always had this sort of spirit of adventure and wanting to see not only what's in my backyard, but what's around the next corner. And my life has kind of been shaped that way, with rock climbing, whitewater paddling, adventure racing, and most recently, long ultra-endurance mountain bike racing. And that has really morphed into projects like Blood Road and the documentary film that I did with Red Bull Media House, really as the ultimate exploration. And even I can go back to how that feeling as a kid of wanting to go outside my backyard or pedal around the next corner, and I still feel that way. I still want to see the world, and I've been able to use sports as my vehicle to do that. So I've been really lucky and fortunate to have kind of formed a career as an adventure athlete that way. Blood Road was such a big journey, and it was quite unexpected. I expected to find a great adventure. I expected to find the place where my dad's plane went down. I didn't expect to connect with a culture in Southeast Asia so much in that way. My riding partner is a Vietnamese cyclist, and what I hope people will take away from it is a lot of what I did is seeing the world through someone else's eyes, being able to ride with somebody who experienced the Vietnam conflict from the other side, being able to spend time with the villagers who were the recipients of the bombs that my dad was dropping. So I hope that people take away that how common we are and how different we may seem, but looking at any story or any experience from the other side really was eye-opening for me. And while it is a story of loss, it is very much a story of discovery and healing and hope. And so I do hope people take away from that what we can do to learn from our past and really create a more positive, better future. This was for sure the biggest expedition of my life, the furthest I'd ridden, the most challenging logistics to just map a route that is intentionally secretive. The Ho Chi Minh Trail was a network of paths and trails that were used for the North Vietnamese to move supplies to the south, and it was intentionally hidden. So even just piecing together a historically accurate route was extremely challenging in a place where I don't speak the language, multiple border crossings and river crossings, and I mean, I can't even explain the amount of the challenge of the logistics of trying to piece the route together. But then you add on top of it a film crew, and you add on top of it the unknown aspect. And that's why I went to Red Bull Media House when I wanted to do this project. I didn't have the intent to make a film, but I knew as a longtime partner, I knew I needed help, and it was too big of a project for me to do alone. And so I needed logistical help. And that's how the project started, as an athlete project. But as Red Bull started to see the depth of the story, we started to decide, look, this needs to be told. We need to create a film out of it. And even then, it was meant to be a 20-minute short film edit. And as the story uncovered, even with a very small crew, we ended up being able to make a documentary length film out of it. And so, yeah, logistically off the charts. The longest I've ever ridden, 1,200 miles. But honestly, the physical journey was not the hardest part for me. That is what I'm trained as an athlete. That's what I know how to do, how to suffer, how to use a map, how to be hungry, how to be lost, how to keep pushing through. I'm trained for that my whole life. What I'm not trained for, and the biggest growth and challenge for me of this trip, was being vulnerable and letting go of control and really letting the journey unfold naturally. I'm not used to that, and that was a big lesson for me to let go and just let it happen and let the ride unfold. And I think that shows in the film. It shows in Blood Road that this wasn't something that you're going to expect from Red Bull Media House, and it wasn't something that you're going to expect from a professional athlete like me. I didn't expect it. I've been an athlete my whole life, but I've never been able to tell a really big story like this with the help of Red Bull Media House, with the help of Wasatch Mountain Film Festival. And what I've learned from this is the importance of sharing our stories, and how something that was my very personal journey can actually, through storytelling, through film festivals, through sharing, actually becomes a much bigger template worldwide. People have seen this film all over the world, and the importance of that is that that's how we grow as a culture. You hear someone's story, and that inspires you to go do something different. That inspires you to take action. And I'm really proud of the fact that this has gone far beyond just being my own personal journey, but it wouldn't be able to get out in the world and affect other people if it wasn't going to film festivals, if it wasn't made into a film. And so, as hard as it is, it added a whole layer of challenge to be able to document this story. I can really see the importance, because if we keep, and whether that's just telling a story to your friend on an adventure that you went and did in the mountains, in the Wasatch, or whether that's documenting a film, I think it's really important that everybody shares what they know and shares what they learn. I mean, that's how we all grow as humans. We have mentors, we have people who inspire us, and ideas and things that come out of something that we never would have thought of before. Something that was really unexpected that came from Blood Road was my discovery of all of the unexploded ordnance that still exist especially in Laos. It's the most bombed country in the history of our world, and there are still a lot of unexploded ordnance left from 50 years ago that are still killing and injuring people. And I was shocked to see the bomb craters and to learn about this. And so what's been really amazing for me is that I've come home with a mission to do something that I can, use my bike to help clean up the bombs that still exist there that the U.S. dropped. And so I've been taking mountain bike trips back to Laos. I've been fundraising through my Be Good campaign, selling bomb bracelets that are made from bombs that are cleared in Laos. And all of that is going back to Mines Advisory Group to clear up unexploded ordnance in Laos in my dad's name. And so I feel like it's an inheritance from him. He's given me and my cycling a purpose. And So that's one really exciting thing that's come from spending time over there on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. But it's also shown me that I want to use my rides to tell stories, but I also want to use them to create change in our world. And so a lot of my rides for this year, some of the upcoming projects, are highlighting public lands and protecting places in my country, in the US, that I love to ride too. So it's going back to that little girl in her backyard who was given the opportunity to go to all the national parks as a kid. I want to use my bike now to help protect that for our future as well.